Yo, welcome to Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and Music is a Day Job is brought to you by the Concert app. Concert app is an artist accelerator app that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour. It gives the fan the best experience in independent live music. Today's question is, how do I turn followers into fans? Now, let me go back, because in the video, followers versus fans, so we can just reestablish everything. Followers are not the same thing as fans. Fans are people that'll spend money on you. Those are people that'll buy your product. Those are your actual fans. Followers are just people who want to see what you're doing. So this is why I tell a lot of artists, like, I watch artists that have 1 million followers online and can't tour because people won't spend money on them. Where they go into a city and you see like a lot of these rappers can't sell out their shows. You see a lot of these just artists in general can't do numbers at their shows because they have tons of followers and they don't have fans. And if you don't know who your fan is, that's one of the biggest mistakes I watch artists have. So understanding that idea of followers versus fans. So you have your followers who, yes, of course, anyone will watch you do something. Like, I can post something of me doing something stupid right now and I'll get tons of followers. That doesn't mean any of these people spend money to see me. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why you see people go viral and not have many followers, or they'll go viral but don't have many people talking about them all the time or anything, or they're not famous or anything like that, because no one will actually spend money. And it's messed up the music industry and entertainment industry, because people find out the hard way. These dudes have all these followers online and then no one wants to come see them. No one wants to pay to see them. And so they don't understand that piece. But then this person asked me, how do I turn my followers into fans? So they're basically understanding that these aren't the same thing. So how do I make these followers on my page become fans? Now, see, the thing is, it's different than a regular, like, just random person you're trying to turn into a fan. So the difference is that you already have their attention. So that's step number one, is that you already have their attention because they're following you. So whether they're following you on Instagram or TikTok or whatever like that, you already have some type of attention from them, that they have looked at something and they liked it, so they followed you. Whether they followed you on whatever they followed you on, they're paying attention to you to a certain extent. So you're a step above finding regular fans out in like public. So you're coming from a different level. You're coming from the angle of, I already have your attention. Now I get to say something. Now, I always tell people, make sure you do this quick when you get the attention of people, because if you wait too long, they're going to totally forget and then you lose their attention again. It's just like if you were in front of a group of people outside and you yelled something and then everyone looked over at you. You have their attention. Now, if they get a little bit closer to you to try to figure out what you're doing, you really have their attention for this moment in time. You need to capitalize on making them into a fan now. So the two things that I say to me are the strongest ways of capturing that is the first one is content. Now, this is content whether in person or online. So how you drop your content, that's why I don't really like, I know people try to imitate the superstars of, like, they have like very little content and they rarely ever release content. But if you're trying to make a living off this, you can't live like they live. They already have tons of fans. So if I have 1 million fans already, I can release one piece of content and just say my album's coming out in 2 years. I already have 1 million people paying attention to this. You see what I'm saying? Like, I already have 1 million fans that actually spend money on me. So they're already tied to this. They're already sold. They're already purchasing this product. So I watch people who don't have any fans do this exact same thing of not releasing content because they're more worried about what their page looks like or whatever like that. But you have to feed the people you're trying to turn to fans to spend money on you. They don't have to do that. So when you do that, when you're building that content, right when you get their attention, you're dropping content to give yourself, and we talked about this, is the content that you're dropping has to, like, be more than just the music. You have to give yourself the biggest shot of catching these people with more entertainment. Like, so for instance, as I always tell people, if you like dogs, A lot of people like dogs. So if you have content that's like that, show that content. Be creative with it. And then you're going to catch some of those people who you have their attention, because they're going to be like, oh, I like dogs like this too. Or you like to eat expensive food or something like that. And then they're going to be like, oh, I wish I was eating that. Or I like that too. Now you done caught them again. Now, like these are all things that's bringing them in closer to be like, I'll spend $1 to go see this person. All this is just content to turn into fans. So you're just trying to push that amount of content to get it over. Because then if you have some good music and they see that and you keeping their attention, when they see the music, they're going to give it a try and they're going to say, oh, I like this song that you do. And then there's a higher chance of them being like, yo, I'll pay to go see this kid when they're around me. And that's what you're doing with the content. And so that's how you're trying to turn a follower that already exists into a fan. Now, the next one is, I always say, contact. This is in person or online. Now, contact is, as I have in a video that will probably drop before this one, don't spam. Do not spam them with your music. Make some sort of contact. Like online, I always say, as I say in the spamming one, always say something like towards a picture or something like that. And just, give kudos to something they're doing. Because then they're going to, more than likely, I say 80% of people will say something nice back because you complimented them. Unless you're saying something weird towards, like, what I'm saying, like, I guess you kind of say, like, in the dating world, like, if you're just trying to be like, oh, look at her booty or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to do any of that, because that makes people just not want to talk to you. But if you say something that's complimenting something that's on their page, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a dope sweatshirt or something like that, more than likely they're going to either like it or comment more or whatever like that. If you say something more in depth, you can get the conversation to go further. A lot of times you look at something that it's appealing to you that you might like, say something that goes further in depth, so they have to comment back, and then they'll more than likely pay attention to look at your page and stuff like that. So you want to establish that contact somehow, whether it's like on a comment or or inside of their DM or whatever like that. You establish that contact so you can open up conversation. That leads to you being like, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, I got a show, and then that makes people go like, oh, well, cool, I might swing by. Because if they're having conversation with you and you don't make it creepy, then it's just kind of the form of, oh, well, that's dope, I'll swing by because this is a cool person I'm talking to online, The other piece of establishing that contact is in person. Establishing that contact in person is very different, because, like, a lot of people already feel like people are either salesmen in person or people have a reason why they're talking to them. So pick where you do it at. Like, pick places that you're going to establish contact and how you're establishing contact with people, because you just don't want to walk up on people. People don't like any of that, like, especially from this, like, people playing pranks and stuff like that. Like, a lot of people don't like it. So establish how you're going to make those contacts in person. One person who's very good is the dude who is in my group. He's like always establishing contact. He a lot of times, like, commonalities with things that are going on in the world or things you've seen or something like that, or something someone says, and then you just harp on that. A lot of times I've seen him do that. I'm not very good because I'm kind of antisocial in public, which might seem weird because I do these videos, but I force myself to do these videos. So, but, if you do decide to go that route of establishing contact in person, then definitely figure out, like, what's your, like, sweet spot with it. Like, is it joking? Is it, like, finding those things? But then both of those are things that can help you get these, especially if like, they're already a follower, like, especially in person, like if you see one of these people in person, because I know we do, like, let's keep it 100, like, we see these people in person, and then it's easy, even with the use of saying, like, oh, I think I follow you online, like, are you know what I'm saying, that, like, I don't know if I'd say, like, are you like, Diamonds Pink 123, like, I don't know if I'd do all that, but because that's kind of stalkerish. But I have done that. Yo, I think we're friends online. Like, I have done that one. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you can't do it in the creepy way. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't do it in the creepy way. You guys get what I'm saying. Like, you have to be like, yo, like, oh, this is like, you know, and if you, because we're all in the same areas. So it's like, if they follow you, then they're going to understand that you probably do know each other online because they followed you for a reason. So if you get that opportunity of running into them, that makes it actually easier to establish that contact. And then from there, that's what I'm saying. Like, you slowly implement what your dream is. And that's how they turn into fans, because then they go like, oh, well, I'm down to support this person's dream. They're passionate about it. And like, I wouldn't add this as the last one, but when people see that you're passionate and you're really trying to push something, and it's just not spamming, and you really believe in yourself and you're trying to be successful, both through the content and the contact, people are more apt, especially if they already follow you, they're more apt to be like, yo, I'll support this kid, because they see how hard you're pushing. And because you have their attention, they're seeing it. And then that makes them go like, yo, I'll support and I'll spend money on you. And that's what turns the follower into the fan. Once again, this has been Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean. This has been brought to you by the Concert app. Now, make sure you go comment, like, and subscribe. We got to get this to everybody in the world, so then everybody can turn music into a day job that wants to do it. Once again, download the Concert app. The Concert app is in multiple states right now. If there's an event where you are, then of course pick a slot on a show. Or if there's an event that's a conference, make sure you come to the conference, because that's when we're going to talk more about this and then how to use the app and start building shows in your area. If we're not in your area, definitely tell people, other artists, to get onto the app so we can start seeing the demand there, so we can get out there. And everyone, if you do have venues, let me know, because then that makes it easier for us to start throwing shows for you guys. So once again, this has been Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean. It's been brought to you by the Concert app.